We are back, Madcaps Comedy Club, Madcaps Podcast. I'm with the rising star, the man I've seen everywhere, Jake Klark, brother.
I like that, rising star. That sounds good.
I'm a good hype man.
I'm good, man. How are you? The place looks incredible.
Oh, man.
I don't know how you pulled it off. I saw the entire story.
Good attorneys.
Every video that you posted, it didn't look like you were going to pull it off, but you did it.
I don't know how
and it looks great.
Man. Good attorneys and great staff, man, that helped us get here, man. So I know we don't have long, man. So Showtime is coming up, right?
Yeah.
So similar questions when we were talking to James, right? What got you started? What got you into comedy? Tell me about your first time.
So what got me into comedy was I was actually, through the day job, I was doing a lot of presentations. So I already kind of liked talking to people. Thought I had a knack at it, right? Mm-hmm. Secondly, my buddy was like, bro, you should try stand-up. But thirdly, this is what made me do it. You know, I do a little gambling from time to time. Okay. And I was into a podcast with I forget who it was. I think it was the Rogan podcast, and I can't remember who he had on. But they were saying that they were walking through the casino to go to a gig, and they saw everybody just chasing the rush on the tables, just chasing that high, chasing that feeling. Yeah. And he felt bad for them because he knew that they would never feel what it feels like to be on stage, killing, getting that type of feeling. So I put those three things together, and I'm like, I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm going to give it a whirl. So
you remember your first time on stage?
Yeah, man. It actually went well.
It went well.
The next 10 times did.
Yeah, okay, where was it? Where was the first go?
Just a little open mic. I think it was at one of those coffee houses, Drunken Monkey.
Oh, yeah. Drunken Monkey.
It went well.
Yeah?
Next 10 times, not so much. I had some shit to figure out.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. We all do. Yeah. What keeps you moving, though? Because, man, I've watched you. I remember when you first walked into my first club, Mellow Monkey over on Sanford.
Yeah, I remember. I got to go in there one time.
Yeah, you walked up and did that. And now, what is it, 3 years later?
I'm a little over a year and a half.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah, I started right there. I started right when the pandemic hit.
Yeah, right.
So
right
it kept me busy, writing, reading.
But I've seen you everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Like you're driving to other clubs, you're going to other states, you're moving around, you're putting it out there, man. I mean, I've watched you. When I say rising star, I mean it, man. From where you started to where you've come to in such a short time, man. Yeah. What do you credit that to?
The way I see it, anything you want to be good at, you got to do it all the time. So you see me driving to all these places is because you got to get in front of real live audiences. That's the only way you get better at stand-up. You know, you can't expect to go to a couple open mics where there's just a bunch of comedians there and no one's really listening to your jokes. You got to drive. Well, if it's 3 hours for 20 minutes, you got 20 minutes better that night. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to put in the reps, put in the time, so when an opportunity comes, I'm ready.
Talk more about what that life is like, man. Because I think sometimes you try to tell somebody, it's like, hey, I got to drive 3 hours. I got 10 minutes, right?
It's a lot of back pain, a lot of driving, back pain, a lot of fun stuff you see on the road. But it's you start to embrace it, man. You know, throw on a podcast, maybe the Madcaps Adam podcast. That's a shameless plug for you. No, but you just go there and you know that it's work, man. You know it's going to pay off. And like you said, you've been seeing me in some clubs recently, and it's nice to just start to really get to a little bit bigger stages and get the opportunity to start working in front of bigger crowds. So just got to keep putting in the work. That's what I do. Who do you
credit this jump to? Right? I mean, somebody that's maybe mentored you along the way, or somebody, or somebody's, right? Yeah. Who are some of the people you've looked up to in the game, and as you've been doing what you're doing?
Hands down, James John gave me my first opportunity to feature. It was at Winner's Circle, and at that point, I thought I had maybe 15-ish minutes. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, just do 25 tonight. I was like, okay, I'll try. Yeah. Ended up doing 30.
Yeah.
I got lucky. It was a white, hot audience. Everything was hitting. Everything was working. But I owe a lot to James to open some of these doors, bring me along, let me get into some of these stages, because kind of once I got that first taste, you know what I mean, started seeing what this looks like, how to spread yourself for a 25 to 30 minute set. You start writing different. You start performing different. You start thinking about things differently. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, man.
What's your process? What's your process from idea, thought to I don't know if it's paper, right? How do you do it all the way to stage? What's your process for a joke or a bit?
So it's a little bit scattered. It starts with maybe an idea you see, jot it down in the little notes on your phone app. Then I'll take that idea and I'll try to put pen to paper. So whatever the premise is, I get down.
You prefer writing over thumbing?
I do both.
Yeah.
I try to do both anyways. But I always try to establish what's the premise. What am I trying to tell anybody, right?
Yeah.
And then every joke or punchline or any way I go has to come back to that premise. And then you just, you try to figure it out on stage. You try it, see what works, what doesn't work, go back. It's a lot of editing. For me, it's a lot of editing, which is good and sometimes bad. I found if you edit too much, you can sound robotic. If you don't edit it enough, you're going to be there for 10 minutes. You maybe get 3 jokes in because you're just talking. So it's kind of finding that balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. What advice would you give somebody that's thinking about starting comedy?
It's a good question.
Or warning.
A warning, yeah. Well, be ready for a lot of long nights. Be ready to have 4 other jobs to support this career till you get it lifted off. But now, honestly, man, it's just if it's something that you find out that you love after the first time, you put in the work every day, it's going to pay off.
Worst thing about comedy, best thing about comedy.
Worst thing about comedy. Not getting paid.
Okay, yeah.
What else is bad about comedy? 7-hour drives. You get into a hotel and they say, I don't know who you are. Different things. But that's all. You just got to embrace it because all that comes material, that comes life lessons, that comes stories. Best thing about comedy is it's a lottery. You're sitting on a lottery ticket, but you can also increase your chances to hit that lottery by how hard you work. What I mean by saying that is, the sky's the limit for any comedian. You can be Chris Rock, Joe Rogan. You have that potential. Like, you can do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot harder, but you can still kind of control that destiny, right? It's not like something that you're just hoping pays off. You can actually put the work in to get there. And even if you fall short and you're a working comic and it's what you love, that's the dream right there.
Shoot for the moon. If you miss, it's still among the stars, man.
Yep.
I love it, man. Jake, man, tell them where they can find you, man. Follow you on social media, the whole thing, man.
You guys can find me Instagram, J Klark Comedy, Klark with a K, Jake Klark on Facebook. Follow me. Let's take a look at this journey. One day we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there.
I already know it. I already know it, brother.
You're gonna be there.
Yeah, it's we're about 30 minutes to showtime, man.
Let's do it, man.
I know you're gonna crush it today.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the opportunity.
No, thank you, man.